Hello everybody, welcome. And today what we're going to do is we're going to have a little bit of a Giverny in France immersion. I don't know if that's quite the right word, immersion. Immerse yourself in Giverny in France for this wonderful book, Black Water Lilies. Now this is by Michel Bussi, and it has been recently translated into the French by Sean Whiteside. And wow, I've just finished this book, and I do have to say that this is the best plot ending of 2017 so far. It blew me away. And I'm a big mystery reader, as you know, and I'm pretty good at sort of working out what's happening, but this book is amazing. Now, what made it for me also is the fact that David and I have been to Monet's garden in Giverny in France. We went as part of a trip for our honeymoon. For our honeymoon we went on the Seine, on a barge on the Seine, a barge hotel, and we stopped off at various places. It was a wonderful trip, and one of those was Giverny. I've always wanted to go and see. I'm very much interested in Impressionism, and I wanted to go, and it's one of the places I wanted to go to, and it just so worked out that on this trip we went. Now I've included loads of photographs in here because I think as you're reading through this book there's various parts of Giverny that are mentioned, various buildings that are important, and yes, you can read this book having not been there and you get a feel for the place, but it's nothing quite like, as I was reading it, I thought, yes, that's there, and oh yes, we went to that hotel, and yeah, we walked along that road. And I know you can't quite do that, but hopefully with some of the photos it will just give you a bit of an atmosphere. So watch this clip a few times, get a look at the feel of the get a look of the photographs, and it just immerse yourself. It's a wonderful place, although we went in October and it was a bit on the cool side, but I just thought it'd make it all the more interesting for you for reading this book. Now I'm not going to say too much because you don't, I think if you knew too much it would spoil it, but what I do want to do is I'm going to read out the short prologue, and if this doesn't make you want to read this book, then I don't know what will. I've got to be honest that there's quite a lot of history. So there's history of art in here, mainly about the Impressionist time period, and for some perhaps that's not quite your cup of tea. So we've got amazing characters, we've got an amazing plot, but there is quite a bit of history about art, about Monet, and for some people might find that a little bit boring, shall we say. I loved it because that's my thing. I've been there, and I think it's important to the plot. But just thought I'd mention that because that some people might think, in some of the comments on Goodreads, etc. I can't understand why everybody didn't give it 5 stars, but we've all got our own taste, haven't we? And we all rate things in a different way. So hopefully you'll get a feel for this book from the prologue and the photos, and go out and get this book. I haven't been sponsored by the author or the publisher. I don't know who the publishers are actually. Widdenfield and Nicholson. So yeah, I just very special memories from Giverny. So here we go. 3 women lived in a village. The first was mean, the second a liar, and the third an egotist. Their village bore the pretty name of a garden, Giverny. The first lived in a big mill on the banks of a stream, on the Chemin de Roy. The second occupied an attic flat above the school, Rue Blanche Bouche de Monet. The third lived with her mother in a little house with the paint flaking off the walls on Rue de Chateau d'Eau. They weren't the same age, not at all. The first was over 80 and a widow, almost. The second was 36 and had never deceived her husband, yet. The third was nearly 11, and all the boys in her school wanted her to be their girlfriend. The first dressed always in black, the second put on makeup for a lover, the third plaited her hair so that her tresses flew out behind her in the wind. All three were quite different, but they had something in common, a secret. All three dreamed of leaving, yes, of leaving Giverny, the famous village that compels swarms of people to travel across the entire world just to stroll in its gardens for a few hours because of the Impressionists. The first woman, the oldest, owned a pretty painting. The second was interested in artists. The third, the youngest, was good at painting. Very good, in fact. Many would find it strange wanting to leave Giverny. But these three women viewed the village as a prison, a big, beautiful garden, but surrounded by a fence. Like the grounds of an asylum, a trompe-l'oeil, a painting from which you could not escape. The third woman, the youngest, was looking for a father. The second was looking for love. The first, the oldest one, knew certain things about the other two. But once for 13 days only, the gates of the park were opened. The dates were very precise, from the 13th of May to the 25th of May 2010. But the rules were cruel. Only one of them could escape. The other two would have to die. That was how it was. Those 13 days passed like a parenthesis in their lives, too short, cruel too. The parenthesis opened with a murder on the first day and finished with another on the last day. Strangely, the police were only interested in the second woman, the most beautiful. The third, the most innocent, had to carry out her own investigation. The first, the most discreet, was left in peace to keep an eye on everyone and to kill. It lasted 13 days, long enough for an escape. 3 women lived in a village. The third was the most intelligent, the second the most cunning, and the first the most determined. In your opinion, which one managed to escape? The third, the youngest, was called Fanette Morel. The second was called Stephanie Dupin. The first, the oldest, well, that was me. Ooh, that is just spine-chilling to me. Yes, set in 2010. That was, we went in October 2008 for our honeymoon. And yeah, look at the pictures, immerse yourself in Giverny, immerse yourself in this fantastic book. And it's got the most wicked ending. And yeah, let me know how you went on with it. So, Blackwater Lilies, Michel Bussi, translated from the French. Yes, wow, that's all I'm going to say. Bye for now.